So we're all searching for that mythical camera that makes content creation as easy as possible, but also still retains quality. And both the Lumix S9 and the Osmo Pocket 3 claim to be that camera. So we're gonna go ahead and see what both of these have to offer, and if you should consider them over your iPhone, because at the end of the day, that's really the baseline. And by the way, guys, this video is sponsored by Riverside,
which is this really cool remote recording solution as well as editor.
And I'm gonna be using it to get other YouTubers' opinions on both of these cameras. So definitely stick around so that you can hear their thoughts on these two cameras. So first, let's go ahead and talk form factor. And honestly, I think for a lot of you guys, you're gonna favor the Osmo Pocket. It's really tiny and can fit in your pocket, hence the pocket part of its name. And also, I find the UI to be very easy to understand. It does have this 2-inch touchscreen, and I feel like I can hand this camera to pretty much anyone and they can figure it out. Also, the camera can rotate all the way around so that you can easily film yourself, which is fantastic. I don't have the SD card in here. We got it. Also, it uses these micro SD cards, which are great. However, the battery is not removable. So if you want to charge your Osmo Pocket 3, you do have to charge it like an iPhone over USB-C. The Lumix S9, on the other hand, is a much more traditional camera, although it is very compact for it being a full frame camera. If your workflow includes a little bag of any kind, it easily travels with you. Additionally, it does have this robust flip screen, so you can easily film yourself if you need to. Also, it uses regular SD cards like this one right here. And also it does have a removable battery, so charging the camera is much more convenient. So how do these two cameras compare when it comes to image quality? Well, this is honestly going to heavily favor the Lumix S9. The Osmo Pocket 3 has a 1-inch 4K sensor compared to the massive full-frame 6K open-gate sensor that the S9 has. When you compare these frames side by side, you can definitely tell that the S9 is much higher quality. However, when it comes down to it for content creation, quality is not necessarily the best metric for a good camera. Now, when it comes to convenience between the Osmo Pocket 3 and the Lumix S9, this is where the lines get a bit more blurry. If you're bouncing between filming horizontal and vertical content pretty frequently, they're both very good for very different reasons. With the Osmo Pocket 3, you can switch from landscape shooting to vertical shooting with a flip of the screen, and this is honestly very satisfying. However, it does drop to 3.3K resolution when you switch to vertical versus 4K, which is definitely a bit of a bummer. However, because it does have that built-in gimbal, I will say that vlogging with the Osmo Pocket 3 is a breeze. The Lumix S9, on the other hand, opted for open gate. Basically, this means you're filming in a more square aspect ratio so that in post-production, you can crop in for either horizontal or vertical content. That means if you plan well, you can actually film for a bunch of different platforms all at once, which is honestly pretty clever.
Both the Lumix S9 and the Osmo Pocket 3 are advertised as content creation cameras. And one of the biggest things about content creation is that we need to be able to film for both horizontal content, like we're doing right now, as well as vertical content. So what's better for you? Which one do you prefer in your workflow?
To be honest, I know the benefits of open gate, but it requires some thinking when you use open gate, because you have to plan for enough headspace. You have to make sure that although you have the entire sensor, you still have to make sure that majority of your subject is centered in the middle of the frame. But I just find that I prefer to be able to visualize my vertical content when I'm shooting it, right? I don't want to have to think about what would this look like once I put a 9:16 crop on it. And I know you can put frame markers and stuff like that on the display in the camera, but for me, I prefer just having a vertical option, and that way I know exactly what the composition looks like. I know when I bring it in, I don't have to crop it around, move it around. It's already vertical. I just got to do my thing.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, this video is brought to you by Riverside. If you don't know what Riverside is, basically it makes capturing remote high quality video and audio a breeze. You don't have to worry about poor internet connection or getting really compressed files, because Riverside records locally on both the host side and the guest side, meaning that you get up to 4K high quality files, and it's uploaded to the cloud almost instantaneously, meaning that you can download the content almost instantly. But another feature that Riverside has recently added that's honestly quite helpful is going to be its magic clip system. Basically, it uses AI to skim through your entire video for you and find the potentially good short form content bits. And guys, this is far from the first time I've used Riverside. I've been using them for a long time when recording the Golden Hour podcast. And honestly, I feel like this feature would have been super useful back then, because finding and clipping out short form content is definitely a bit of a hassle. Now, you can also directly edit your recordings in Riverside, which is really cool, but not just in the traditional way you would think of with a timeline and things like that, but you can also do text-based editing. So if you go in and see a paragraph where you're just chit-chatting and it's not really useful for the video, you can just highlight it and delete it, and it'll delete it in the actual recording, which is honestly pretty cool. If you do content creation of any kind and you're looking for a reliable remote recording solution, I think maybe you should give Riverside a try. I'll have a link down below in the description so that you can learn more.
But both of these cameras are even more vastly unique from each other. Take the Osmo Pocket 3, for example. It does have this active track mode, so this actually works great for self-shooting. So even as I move around, the camera operates itself and keeps me framed in the shot. And this works whether it's set down like it is right now, or if I was vlogging and holding the camera. Now, the S9, on the other hand, has one massive advantage over the Osmo Pocket 3, and that's gonna be that it's actually a very capable photo camera as well. You can take 24 megapixel high quality photos for either Instagram or even YouTube thumbnails. The Osmo Pocket 3 can take photos, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't think it's very good for that. Now, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing for your workflow specifically, but the S9, you can actually change out the lenses. So if I want to go from this 35mm to an 18mm, which favors vlogging, I can do that. Or if I want to use this 85mm for B-roll, I have that option as well. The Osmo Pocket 3 does have a workaround for this. You can use these tiny little adapters that just magnetize to the front of the camera. That changes the field of view of the Osmo Pocket 3. So this is a wide angle one, but you also have the option, if you want, to put on a little anamorphic adapter, which is honestly pretty fun.
Okay, Cam, so both of us have both the Lumix S9 and the Osmo Pocket 3. Both are fantastic cameras for a variety of different reasons, but what camera are you more likely to bring, say if you were going on one of your road trips?
If I'm trying to get creative and artsy and shoot super cinematic stuff, I'm going to take the S9. But if it's a trip where I'm going to be a bit occupied, because maybe it's like a job and I just want to shoot BTS, or I want to try to shoot something, but it's going to be difficult to manage that, the Pocket 3 is like a Swiss Army knife.
So because of the form factor and how small they are, I would actually bring both of them with me, just because I love this one. I use this one more for photos, the S9, where I would use the Pocket 3 more for video. So I think they complement each other.
Which one would probably the Osmo Pocket?
Yeah, why's that?
It's such a versatile little camera. It's hard for me to like put into words how good this freaking thing is because it's so tiny. Any problems it does have, I'm willing to let go of because of how tiny it is.
One of the big things about content creation is that we have to consider both horizontal and vertical content frequently. They handle it in very different ways. Is there a preference for you on one versus the other, or do you like them both for both types of content?
Obviously, the S9 does open gate, which makes life so much more easier. I kind of wish there was an open gate on this. I think that would make more sense.
Yeah, maybe if they did a Pro Osmo Pocket 3 with open gate,
Or
that'd be really cool.
if the camera went 90 degrees.
What are some of the unique ways that you use either of these cameras?
So I mounted the Pocket 3 on a vehicle. So this is great for getting car roller shots, especially because it has that active track. So it's actually pretty incredible what you can do with the Pocket 3. The form factor also, I feel like you're not going to get pulled over. The S9, I love just the ease of use, being able to have that real-time LUT, as you mentioned, and being able to have those quick deliverables for social media. Like, both of these cameras are just incredible.
Now, because we've said how much we like to bring both of these with us, if you could only pick one, which one are you taking?
Probably the S9.
Okay, why is that?
Because as great as the Osmo Pocket is, and I've said this a bunch of times in videos, once you reach its limits, you can't go above those limits, right? With the S9, you do get a photography camera in it, although it may not have the gimbal and all that stuff in it. It's still small enough. It's still got a full frame sensor if I want to take photos. If I need to, I got 6K 30 open gate. I got 4K 30 open gate. I got all the other cinema, options in there. I can get everything I need to get done as a content creator done with this camera, and that includes photography and video.
Yeah, 100%. I think the S9 punches way above what it should be capable at a $1,500 mark. It's a fantastic camera with all its shortcomings. It also has some pretty stellar features.
So when it comes down to these two content creation cameras, which one should you get? Well, to be honest, that's kind of a tough choice. They're wildly different when it comes to price. The Osmo Pocket 3 comes in around $500, whereas the Lumix S9 with just the body, no lens, is $1,500. I think really what it comes down to is which one serves you the best. Do you need a camera with a built-in gimbal that makes walking around and filming super easy? Or do you need a camera that gets really high quality video but can also shoot high quality photos? It's definitely something to consider. Or maybe you just don't want to use any of these cameras and you just want to use your iPhone. Honestly, that's plenty fine too. And if you want to go deeper between the iPhone and the Osmo Pocket 3, I actually have a video that you can check out right here. And thanks so much to Riverside for sponsoring this video. I hope this helped you understand and kind of learn more about these content creation style cameras and maybe make a good choice for yourself. I hope you all have a fantastic week and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.